So namaste and welcome to another awesome day of yoga. Please join me in any comfortable seated position on your mat. In this class, we're going to be doing some Yoga Nidra at the end, a sort of extended relaxation. So be sure to have some blankets, anything that makes you comfortable, cushions, bolsters around for support and coziness at the end. And just for now, in your comfortable seated position or kneeling as I am, bringing your hands together at the center of your chest, taking a moment to sit as tall as you feel able to sit, dropping the shoulder blades down the back, maybe closing the eyes or gazing gently downward. And taking a moment to notice how you're feeling today. Notice the sensations in your body, particularly the loud ones. They're often ones of discomfort or niggles or stiffness. But also notice the quiet sensations. Quiet sensations of length, of space, of ease. Notice how you're feeling, whether you feel peaceful, joyful. Perhaps you've just had a bit of a morning or a bit of a day and you're frustrated or feeling something a little bit more challenging. Excuse me, we've got a late arrival. And also notice what sort of thoughts you're having, whether they be planning thoughts, thoughts that look to the future, thoughts that look to the past, thoughts that take you away from what's happening immediately, maybe thoughts of others in far-flung places. When you're ready, you can just gently allow your hands to rest down wherever is comfortable. Still keeping the eyes gently closed or gazing downward. Today we are going to work with a Yoga Nidra practice at the end of class. And in this practice, we use a positive affirmation, a sankalpa. If you're used to working with Yoga Nidra, perhaps you have one that you like to use, in which case you can bring it to mind now. And if you haven't used Yoga Nidra before, just determining a positive affirmation for yourself. I like to use my body is healthy and vital. After so many times when it wasn't, it helps me to feel that inner strength, the rejuvenation that yoga can offer. Choose something that's personal for you, or if you prefer, use a much less tangible statement. I am love. I am peace. Sankalpa is usually an I or my statement. Something about yourself. Very positive. And you can keep this phrase in mind during the practice today. And you'll be directed to repeat it to yourself during our Yoga Nidra at the end as well. So filling ourselves with the positivity of this statement, this mantra for self. Let us move now into our physical yoga practice today. So blinking your eyes open, I'm going to start with some cleansing breaths here. So sitting tall as we are, breathing in, reaching the arms out to the side and up, maybe looking up a little. And as you breathe out, draw your palms together down through the center line of your body to your heart. Breathing in, reaching out and up, looking up, opening the chest, maybe lifting the belly muscles. Breathing out, drawing the hands down, allowing the head to come back to a neutral position. Breathing in. Breathing out. Through your nose if you can. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Let's gather the energy from around us. And as we breathe out, we draw it down through our energetic center. One more. Breathing in. And breathing out. In Yoga Nidra, at the end of our class, we're going to do a chakra visualization as well. So throughout the class, we're going to work on the center line, releasing tension, giving our energy an opportunity to move, create space for it to move, and create ease in the body. So let us move from our seated position. If you've been sitting with your legs crossed, just giving them a little bit of a stretch. And we're going to come onto hands and knees to begin our practice. We're going to do a practice today around the hips and also the shoulders, the spine. So beginning on your hands and knees, making sure that you're spreading out your fingers, having your knees perhaps just underneath your hips, a little bit apart is fine, closer together if you prefer. And then dropping the hips back down to the heels and seeing if you can keep your hands where they are and take your forehead towards the floor. Now, if your forehead needs a little bit of support, simply lifting your head a little, crossing your arms at the elbows and resting your head down on top of your forearms or the backs of your hands. Or you might like to stack your fists. If you need a block at all, then of course using a block. If you need a little bit more room for your body, keeping your toes together, take your knees apart and just allow your body to nestle down between your knees. And it doesn't matter which version of child's pose you're using, use the one that is most comfortable for you. And here, taking nice deep breaths. Maybe just deepening the breath beyond where you have been breathing to date. Feeling that connection between the third eye, the forehead, and some kind of support. Lengthening little the back of the body. One more deep breath here, softening the face, softening the shoulders. And then when you're ready, pressing into your hands or moving your hands back to where they originally were and coming back up into your hands and knees position. Here we're going to begin by firming our belly muscles as we inhale and firming the pelvic floor as we exhale. You can relax in between, firm the belly muscles as you inhale, firm the pelvic floor as you exhale. Keep that the belly muscles firm as well. And then gently release. Firming the belly muscles as you inhale, firming the pelvic floor as you exhale. Firming the belly muscles as you inhale, firming the pelvic floor as you exhale. Keep the contractions this time, that firmness, and then moving into cat-cow pose. Inhaling, looking forward, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest. Exhaling, rounding through the spine. Seeing if you can scoop the belly a little further in, chin towards the chest. Inhaling, lengthening the front of the body. Feel that gentle pull against the contraction of the abdominal muscles. Exhaling, pressing the mat away from you, rounding through the upper back, tucking the tailbone under, chin a little towards the chest. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, rounding the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, looking forward. Exhaling, rounding. Have you still your tummy muscles and pelvic floor contracted? One more. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, rounding through the spine. And then coming back to neutral, we're going to try that with a little bit more movement in the body. So taking a breath in here, as we exhale, we're going to round through the spine and take the hips towards the heels. And as we inhale, perhaps dropping the forearms to the floor, taking the back into the opposite direction, lifting the chest forward as we travel forward over the wrists. Exhaling as you round through the back, pressing away from the wrists, hips to heels. Inhaling, drawing the nose towards the floor, the chest towards the floor, looking up. Exhaling, rounding back and down. Inhaling, releasing forward and up. Exhaling, rounding back and down. Inhaling, lengthening the front of the body. And up. Let's do one more. Exhaling, rounding back and down. Inhaling, looking forward and up. And then just finish by exhaling gently back onto the heels, coming back into your child's pose. And here, turning the palms up towards the ceiling, maybe trying to get the elbows a touch closer towards each other, and letting the fingers really relax, the wrists relax. Taking a couple of deep breaths. When you have the opportunity to rest between postures, allow your body to come back to its place of balance, its homeostasis. Soften the tension from your shoulders, from your face, your tongue, your jaw. Soften the tension in the toes and the fingers. And then to practice again, let us turn our palms downwards and come back onto our hands and knees. We're going to bring the knees together. And again, making sure the fingers are nicely spreading. Tucking the toes of the right foot so the right heel is extending. Firm in the belly, firm in the pelvic floor muscles. Inhale as you lift the right leg up, looking forward. Tiger pose. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Chin to chest, knee to nose. Inhaling, looking forward and up. Buttock firm behind you. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, chin to chest, nose to knee. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. Firm in the belly. And exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Now with a straight leg. Inhaling. A long straight leg, point your toe. Exhaling, chin to chest, nose to knee. Inhaling, firm in the right buttock. Exhaling, chin to chest, nose to knee. Inhaling. And exhaling. Last one. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhale the leg long behind you and just allow the foot to rest down to the floor. This time as you inhale, sweep your right foot behind you to your left side and look to the left. And as you exhale, sweep your right foot out to the right side and look to the right. Like swishing your tail. Inhaling, stretching the right side of the body. Exhaling, stretching the left. Inhaling. And exhaling. exhaling. Inhaling, this is the last one. Exhaling here, drop your foot down wherever is comfortable. And we'll practice our cat pose again in this position. So here, firming the belly and the butt and the pelvic floor. Inhale, looking forward, opening the chest. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Press the mat away from you. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling forward. Just 3 of these. Exhaling, rounding. And here, we're going to come back to a neutral position. Keep the left hand on the floor. Inhale the right hand up to the right side. Exhale, sliding the right hand between the left hand and knee. Inhaling, reaching open and up, gentle twist. Exhaling, sliding the right hand through the body to the left side. Inhaling up. Exhaling, sliding under. Inhaling up. Exhaling, sliding under. Last one. Inhaling up. Exhaling, sliding under. Inhaling back to neutral. Walk your hands towards you and exhale as you kneel tall with your right leg out to the right side. Adjust your clothing if you need to. I always seem to need to at this point. Okay, so here we want to make sure that the left hip is over the left knee, not to the left of the left knee. And the right foot can be out to the side, either toes pointing forward or toes pointing out to the side. It doesn't matter which of these you choose. But allow your right leg to be directly out from your right hip. Sit tall or kneel tall. Inhaling here as we reach the arms out, lifting the buttocks, lifting the belly muscles. And then exhale the right hand down to the right knee and the left hand reaching over towards that right side. Inhaling up to center, reaching both hands up. Exhaling, allowing the right hand to come down, leaning towards the right side. Firm in the belly. Inhaling up. And exhaling over. Inhaling up. And exhaling over. Last one, we're going to hold, inhaling up. Exhaling over and holding here. And just enjoying this stretch, maybe reaching the left fingertips over towards the right side a little more, making sure the buttocks are nice and firm, the belly's firm as well. Smiling to yourself. You're going to turn the palm of your hand. Inhale, reach the left hand up. Allow the hands to cartwheel over to your left side. So your left hand comes down and your right hand is now up. And then here, we're going to reach up with the right hand as we inhale and reach over as we exhale. So reaching over to the left side. Excellent. Right hand coming to center as we inhale. And as you exhale, press the right foot to the floor, reach the right fingertips as far away from it as you can. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, reaching over. Firm belly, firm buttocks. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, reaching over. This one is our last one. We'll hold, inhaling up. Exhaling, reaching over and holding. And breathing deeply. To come out, turn your right palm up to the center. Bounce a little bit on your left hand. Firm the belly and stand up again to center. I'm going to bend the right knee. Get a little bit bouncy on this knee as well. And gently, when it's light, move it back to our center as well. So we come into proposal position. We've got our knees, they don't have to be exact right angles, wherever is comfortable for you. And we're going to maybe shift the right foot forward a little bit. Depends how much room you need for your movement. We're going to do some lunges. So with the arms down by the side, we're going to inhale, reaching up, looking up, opening the chest, firm buttocks, firm belly. Exhaling, hands back down to the side. Excellent. Breathing in, reaching up, opening the chest. Breathing out and down. Breathing in, reaching up, opening the chest. Breathing out and down. I've lost count, so we're going to do 2 more. Breathing in and opening. Breathing out and down. And this one time, holding if you'd like to. Breathing in, opening, keeping the left buttock very firm. The right thigh is very firm as well. You're still pressing away from the mat. Opening the chest, lifting in the belly. And then very gently reaching the hands forward towards your foot and down. We're going to tuck the back toes under and lift the back knee a little off the mat. So we become nice and light and bouncy here. And then pressing away from your front foot, keep your back knee bent, take your buttocks towards your back heel. So you get a stretch down that right leg that's been so bent. And then coming back into your light lunge, your floating lunge, your left knee off the floor. So pressing the buttocks back to the left heel, lengthening the right leg, and keeping that left knee off the floor all the time. If you can, if you can't, just put it down, no worries. This time, if you've had your toes down, lifting your toes up. Doesn't matter which variation of this you do, but it's nice to do both. And then one more time, pressing through that long right leg and coming back to the center. Here in the center, we're going to bring the hands to Namaste. The back toe is still tucked. And then roll the shoulder blades down the back, firm the belly. Take your left elbow or upper arm over to your right thigh. Press the palms together to get that gentle rotation through the upper body. And this might be just the perfect position for you. The shoulder blades moving down, the neck is nice and long, belly muscles are firm, the buttock muscles are firm. If you'd like to add a little bit more, you can lengthen your back leg as well. Press the back heel, that's the left heel, away from you. Keep that left buttock nice and firm too. We'll take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. One more deep breath in. And deep breath out. Returning to center, placing the hands down. We're going to lengthen the front leg and then make it a little bit light and bring it back into downward facing dog. So our first downward dog of the day, just paddling through those, the backs of the legs. And it's quite nice to, because we're not focused on doing a super challenging practice today, we're doing movement, enough movement to release. We can keep our down dogs nice and soft. You can keep the elbows soft. And you can gently turn your head, if you like, from side to side to release tension from the neck, shoulders. You can keep paddling through your feet. There's no need to hold at any stage. If you want to, you can come onto both tiptoes and then extend your heels down towards the mat. When you're holding, if you want to hold, you don't have to, but when you're holding, trying to focus a little bit more on scooping the belly in, tilting your tailbone ever so slightly up, and keep pressing the mat away from you. It's a really active pose here. You're going to take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then release the knees down to the mat, the buttocks towards the heels, and the forehead towards the floor, coming gently into your extended child's pose. For a moment or two, just releasing the effort of your practice, softening the features of your face, letting your breath go. If it helps, you can exhale through your mouth. And when you feel your heart rate returning to its normal pattern of rhythm, and your breath also doing the same, you can begin to prepare to move. So firming the belly muscles again. You're going to walk the hands all the way to the left side. And at the same time, drop your hips towards your right side a little. If you can, balance your head all the way to the floor, that's great. If not, provide a little support with your left arm, so you still get the right arm doing that great stretch down the right side of the body. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Feel that space that your breath moves into. Feel that gentle lengthening of the places in the body that perhaps have been a little bit closed. Then we'll come back to the center. And here in the center, we're going to turn the palms upwards. Just soften the elbows down. Soften the wrists, the fingers. Feel that gentle difference in the stretch across the shoulders, the arms. Maybe take one more of those really cleansing breaths, a deep breath in, sighing out. Then when you're ready, you can walk your hands over to the right side of your body, dropping your hips towards the left. If you can't easily get your head to the floor, then that's great. If not, just rest it on your right hand or arm. Keep the left arm stretching away. Keep opening up those spaces down the left side of the body. The hip underneath the armpit, the side of the rib cage. Take a few deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can gently pad your hands back to the center. We're going to prepare by stretching the fingers out in front of us and coming back onto hands and knees. To do everything on the opposite side. So bringing the knees together again. Preparing by firming the belly and the pelvic floor. Tucking the left toes under so the left heel is extended. Inhale as you lift your left leg, heel up behind you, looking forward. Exhale, rounding through the spine, chin to chest, nose to knee. Inhaling up, firm buttock, firm belly. Exhaling, rounding through the spine. Inhaling. As you exhale, draw your knee up into your chest. Press the mat away from you. Inhaling. And exhaling. One more with a bent knee. Inhaling. And exhaling. Now with a straight leg. Inhaling, pointing the toe instead. Exhaling. Inhaling, firm in the belly and the buttocks. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. I've lost count, so we'll do one more. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then inhale as you lengthen your leg behind you. Exhale, drop the toes down to the floor. Here in your center, check that stability in your core. And then as you inhale, sweep your left leg to the right side of your body, look to the left, look to the right even. As you exhale, sweep your left leg to the left side of your body, look to the left. Inhaling, sweeping to the right like a swishing tail. Exhaling, sweeping to the left, firm belly, firm buttocks. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Last one. Inhaling. And exhaling. Just placing the left foot gently down. Take your weight onto your right side. And, oh no, sorry, let's do our cat pose here. So hands both on the floor. Firm belly, firm buttocks. Inhale as you look forward. Open the chest. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Chin to chest. Inhaling. Feel the difference in how your hips work. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Last one. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling back to neutral, just preparing to take the left hand off the mat. And then on your next inhalation, looking to the left, reaching the left hand up and open. And as you exhale, slide the left hand between the right knee and the right hand. Inhaling, twisting, rotating, opening to the left. Exhaling, sliding your left hand underneath. Inhaling up. Exhaling, round and under. Inhaling up. Exhaling, round and under. We'll do one more. Inhaling up. Exhaling, round and under. Inhaling back to the center. Exhale as you pad the hands towards you and come to an upright kneeling position and adjust your clothing if you need to. So here we've got our right hip over the right knee, not beyond the right knee, and the left foot out towards the left side, and the toes can be pointed in any direction that works for your hip. So then when you're ready, firm buttocks, firm belly, breathing in as you take the arms out and up, and breathing out as you allow the left hand to come down to the left, the right hand to come over, little gentle side bend. Breathing in, coming back to the center. Breathing out, leaning over to the left side. Breathing in, back to the center, firm in your center all of the time. Breathing out as you lean into that left side. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and over. Last one, breathing in and up, we'll hold. Breathing out and over and holding. You might notice one side is less mobile than the other. And in your holding position, maybe just reaching your right hand that little bit further over, making sure that you're very firm in the buttocks and the belly. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. Prepare to move by turning your right palm up to the ceiling. Breathe in and reaching up. Breathing out as you cartwheel the hands over to the right side of the body. Here we're going to reach the left hand over and then breathe in, take the left hand back to the center, firm belly, firm buttocks. Breathing out as you reach the left hand over to the right side. Reach it as far away from the left foot as you can. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and over. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and over. Last one, breathing in and up. Breathing out and over and holding. Lengthening the foot and the hand away from each other. Making sure the buttocks are firm, the belly is firm, the head is nice and neutral. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. We're going to make ourselves a little bit light on this bouncy right arm and bring ourselves back to the center. When we come back to the center, bending the left knee, just making that nice and light, and moving the left foot back onto the mat. We come into proposal position and prepare for our lunges. So if you've got a little bit of length in your hip flexors here, you might need your left foot a little bit further forward, making sure the buttocks are nice and firm. Breathing in as you open the chest up, reaching the arms up. Breathing out, arms down by the side, a bit more neutral position. Breathing in and up, firm belly, firm buttocks. Breathing out and down. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and down. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and down. Last one. Breathing in and up. Breathing breathing out, reaching all the way down to the mat. And just taking a moment here, we're going to bring our hands to the chest, the center of the chest. Take the right elbow across the body onto the left thigh. Tuck the right toes underneath. And use the palms of the hands together to gently ease the chest round towards that left side into a gentle twist. This might be enough for you. And if you'd like a little bit more, you can lengthen your right leg. Allow the head to be neutral, buttocks to be firm, belly to be firm. Breathe deeply here. To release, just gently turning back to the center, releasing the hands down to the mat, lengthening the front leg. I realize we've forgotten something, so we're going to do that now. So we're going to bend the right knee down and just allow it to hover off the mat. And then lengthen the left leg as you press the hips down towards the right heel, and then bring the hips a little bit forward into your lunge, your floating lunge. So pressing the hips back towards the right heel and then pressing forwards into the lunge. If you've had your toes down, alternating by this time lifting your toes, lengthening the back of the left leg and moving forward into that floating lunge, and then lengthening the back of the left leg, moving forward into that floating lunge. It's quite hard work on the thighs, but it's worth it. We're going to place the feet firmly on the floor, lengthen both legs, create a little bit of space to move the left leg back to the right foot, come into downward facing dog. And here, just easing through that down dog again. You might find actually, because of all of the work we've done with the spine and the hips, your down dog is quite comfortable now. If you'd like to, you can bend both knees and gently wiggle your hips from side to side. Keep pressing the chest towards the thighs. Keep lifting in the belly muscles. Maybe just allow that undulation to come into the head and the neck. Not keeping anything particularly still, just moving in any way that your energy encourages you to do. Whenever you're ready, you can come back to your center. Ease your heels down towards the floor. Press your chest towards your thighs. Scoop your belly in. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. We're going to gently ease the knees down to the floor. Come into child's pose. And in child's pose, turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Draw the elbows towards each other if you can, just to get that additional stretch across the upper back, the upper arms. Take a few deep breaths here. If you need to, exhaling through your mouth. Then allowing your breath to fall back into its natural rhythm. Falling away into silence. Softening the features of your face, your mouth, your tongue, your jaw. If you like to, you can turn your hands the opposite way to soften your shoulders, your wrists. Really relaxing your belly muscles, your hips, your buttocks. And whenever you're ready, coming back into an upright position, kneeling or sitting if you prefer. So we're nearly finished with our flow, our set of postures for today. but we're going to add a pigeon pose at this point. So Eka Pada Kapotasana, the one-legged pigeon. And we're going to approach this from our downward facing dog. We're going to do a three-legged dog to draw the energy in to step the leg forward. And so we're going to do a very similar thing to what we did in our cat pose earlier, but in downward dog, where we lift the leg and then curl underneath as well. So let's come back onto our hands and knees, tucking the toes under. We'll come up into our downward facing dog to begin with. We're going to bring our feet together so that the feet are in the center, and so the supporting leg on the floor is more balanced. Then inhaling as you lift your right leg up, heel up behind you, and as you exhale, draw your knee into your chest and allow your shoulders to move forward over your hands. Inhaling, your right leg up, looking forward, opening the chest, lifting in the belly and the buttocks. And exhaling, rounding through the spine, drawing the knee into the chest, shoulders a little bit over the hands. One more like this, inhaling up and exhaling under. This time, we're going to inhale up, and then as you exhale, just draw your right knee forward and allow the knee to come down to the mat between the hands or in that general direction, and slide your left leg backwards. Here, your right knee can be over towards your right wrist, and your left foot can be across your body as much as your hips allow. If, like me, your hips don't like that kind of rotation, you can actually have your right foot tucked underneath your right thigh or towards that side if it's more comfortable. Choose whatever is good for you. And here we're looking for a little bit of support from the upper body. So spend some time exploring where is good for you. This is one of the preparation positions for the splits. So we're looking eventually for the hips to move down towards the floor and to be quite balanced between the left and the right side. But if your knee rotates too much here and you get any discomfort, you can drop your right hip to the floor or onto some kind of support there, a block or a bolster or a cushion. And that should hopefully take the rotation off the knee. And the other thing that can help is actually flexing your right foot, and that will help to protect your knee as well. So in here in the center, we're just gently exploring, and we're going to use a little bit of a wave with our upper body. So inhale as you look forward and open your chest, and then exhale as you gently allow your chest to come over your thigh and your forehead towards the floor. Doesn't matter if it doesn't touch. Inhale, press through the hands, open the chest. Imagine you're doing cobra. Draw your shoulder blades down and lift in your belly muscles. Exhale, soften the elbows. Allow yourself to drape forward over your front leg, forehead towards the floor. Inhaling, pressing up again. Maybe firming the buttock of the back leg. Exhaling, rounding forward and down. Inhaling, pressing up. Exhaling, rounding forward and down. This time we're going to inhale up and up to wherever is good for you. And we're going to exhale as we place the left forearm down across the body in front of us. Press into your right hand as you inhale, twisting as you look towards the right. And then if you want to, you can exhale back to the center. And if you want to, you can hold in the twisted position. So if it's not the most comfortable position, keep moving in and out of it with your breath, or you don't have to hold at all. But if you're comfortable to hold, you can reach your right arm up and reach it over towards your left hip. Doesn't matter if it's palm facing forwards or palm facing backwards, whatever is good for your shoulders. And here, rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, lifting the belly, and just allowing your head to rotate wherever is good for your neck. So it might be quite neutral, might be down, but that maybe is a little bit against the movement that we're trying to achieve. Sideways is probably better. We'll take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I'm going to reach the right arm back up again, coming back to the center. Take both forearms to the floor so the elbows are towards the shoulders. And here, if this is comfortable, you can stay here. And if you'd like to do a little bit more, you can reach your hands out in front of you and take your forehead towards the floor, or to rest it to the back of your hands, perhaps. In your extended Kapotasana, your extended pigeon pose, take a few deep breaths. If this position really isn't comfortable for you, lie flat on your tummy, completely flat on your tummy, making a pillow out of your hands. Try to soften your shoulders. Holding the pose, allow all of the effort of your abdominal muscles, your buttocks to release to the point where your body is comfortable. After your next exhalation, preparing to move, firming the buttocks a little, bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders. I like to inch my left knee in a little bit for a bit more support when I tuck the left toes under. We're going to lift the hips and uncurl the right leg all the way up to the ceiling. And as the right leg becomes nice and long, rotating the right foot a few times in each direction to really wriggle through that ankle. Maybe you want to do a little bit of rotating with the knee bent, or to bend and extend the leg. Nicely done in your three-legged dog. And when you're ready, you can float your right foot back down to the mat and paddle through your legs. So you get a little action on both legs now. We'll do the same thing to the other side. So you bring your feet together in the center. Just feel the difference between the two sides of the body. You're going to float the left heel up behind us, lifting through that left buttock, and then exhale, bend the left knee into the chest, rounding through the spine, shoulders over the hands. Inhaling, left leg up, looking forwards and up, lifting the belly. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, chin to chest, nose to knee. Inhaling up. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling up. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling up. This time, exhaling, drawing the left knee forward, rotating a little bit in the hip to place the outside of the left leg down. You can shimmy your right leg backwards a little bit if you need a bit more space. If you need to, you can bring your left foot out to the side. Flexing the foot is quite nice to do here to protect the knee. And if you prefer, you can keep your heel a little bit more towards your left side instead. So wherever is good for you, we're going to do our waving with the upper body first. So rolling the shoulder blades together, opening the chest as you inhale. As you exhale, bending the elbows, taking the forehead towards the floor. Inhaling, pressing up, opening the chest. Exhaling, waving down. Inhaling up. Exhaling, waving down. Inhaling up. And then this time taking the left forearm to the floor. Right up forearm to the floor. And I'm just going to adjust my knee position. There we are. And doing a gentle rotation, reaching the left arm out to the left and up, and then reaching behind the body, either palm turned away from you or palm turned towards you. Feeling the arms make that rotation. The head can rotate as well. Softening into it here, but at the same time, keeping that firmness in the center of the body to protect, to support the movement. Deep breath in, deep breath out. One more deep breath in, deep breath out. Let's rotate back to center. We'll take both forearms to the floor. And it might be that you're nestling forward, allowing your forehead to come to the floor in this position. You might support your head in your hands. And if you've got the room to move into the position a little bit more, you can reach your hands out in front of you and allow your body to come just that little bit closer to the floor. That doesn't work for me on this side. This knee doesn't like this so much. So wherever you get to, take a few long, deep breaths. When you're ready, you can bring yourself upright a little bit more on your hands. Tuck your back toes under and maybe just shift the back foot in a little bit. Press through the arms, press through the back leg. Extend your left leg up in your three-legged dog, rotating your foot at the ankle a few times in each direction. If you need to, you can bend your knee and rotate your whole left leg, or just bend and stretch your leg. Whenever you're ready, floating your left foot down to the floor, coming back into a more classical downward dog with the feet apart, making any movements that feel good to you, and maybe softening the knees and twisting side to side. When you're ready, floating your knees down. If you'd like to rest in child's pose, you can. I find child's pose after pigeon doesn't suit me quite so well, so I'm just going to rest kneeling. And take a few moments with your breath. When you feel yourself coming back into your equilibrium with your breath, with your heart rate, you can bring yourself back into an upright position and take some support for our next practice, which will be Bhramari, the buzzing bee breath. So we're going to leave our physical practice at this point. Take something that's nice and comfy. We've worked a lot on the hips today and the spine, so hopefully you're able to sit really comfortably. You can choose a chair, of course, at this point. Bhramari is not a breath to do lying down. It's definitely an upright breath, but a chair is a lovely, accessible way to sit with the spine lengthened. And the alternatives are kneeling or sitting with the legs apart, but lengthened out like this. This is quite a nice alternative, particularly if you've got some support. Giving your hips some support is just ideal. Okay, so the buzzing bee breath, Bhramari. We're going to do this only on exhalation today, because today is all about harnessing that inner tranquility and inner peace and balance to help us to sleep better. So the idea is that you make a buzzing or humming sound as you exhale. There are a few little yoga tricks, if you like. So the first one is called Chakari Mudra, and it's taking the tip of the tongue and placing it on the roof of the mouth. So practice that now. Take the tip of your tongue, place it against the roof of your mouth. It doesn't need to be a really firm connection, it's just a gentle connection. And that can be placed anywhere from the space just behind the two top front teeth to right back towards the cavity at the roof of the mouth at the back. But wherever you place your tongue, make it somewhere that's comfortable to hold for a little while. And the action of Chakari Mudra is an energetic one. It creates an energetic connection, but it also helps us to keep our teeth separate. And when we're humming and buzzing, that means they don't jangle in our head and make an unpleasant sound. Because we're doing deep breathing, we can take Chin Mudra, first finger and thumb together with the other fingers extended. This is sometimes called Jnana Mudra as well, and it depends on whether the palms are turned up or down. Don't worry about the names, just choose whichever position of your hands is most comfortable. We're going to roll our shoulder blades down the back to lengthen tall through the whole spine, lifting the crown high. With your Chakari Mudra, tip of tongue, roof of mouth, in place, you can take a few deep breaths. I'm going to begin buzzing on exhalation, and you can join in whenever you're ready. Normal breath in between. Let's do 2 more. At the end of this exhalation, relaxing your tongue. Sometimes you might need to stick it out and wiggle it around a bit. So do that if you need to. And just taking a moment to notice the effect of your practice. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. Relax your hands for a moment. So the action of Bhramari is to extend our exhalation. We make a much longer out breath in a much more rhythmic way when we hum at the same time or buzz at the same time. And the effect is a tranquilizing effect. It's softening, it's relaxing, it's harnessing the parasympathetic nervous system. But we can increase the effect by shutting off our other senses as well. So there are various mudras for doing this, but gestures for doing this, but we're going to simply take our middle fingers and take the flap of skin on the outside of the ear and press it towards the channel of the ear canal to close the ear canal. Not yet, but in a moment. So what we'll do is with the ears closed, in that way, it's sort of soft close. The fingers aren't in the ears, they're closing that soft flap of skin across the ear canals, keeping the elbows nice and soft and the shoulders nice and relaxed. Chakari Mudra, tip of tongue on roof of mouth. You can continue to make your humming over and over and over until you hear the chimes, which I'm going to get in just a moment. And you'll hear the chimes, so don't be worried about that. So just closing the eyes, closing the ears, Chakari Mudra, and practicing your Bhramari breath for a few long deep breaths. Let's do it together. Fingers in ears, tip of tongue on roof of mouth. Deep breath. Sorry for the very loud chimes there. So softening your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Keeping your eyes gently closed if you can. Just noticing the effect of your practice. And then keeping your self-contained, so keeping the eyes gazing gently downward or closed if you can, move yourself into a comfortable position for your relaxation. Remember that today we are doing Yoga Nidra. I'm going to remain sitting upright today so that I can support you better through this practice. Make sure that you're warm, comfortable, and remember your sankalpa, your positive affirmation. So take a moment to get yourself really comfy, perhaps a little bolster underneath the backs of the knees, maybe a cushion underneath the head. In Yoga Nidra, the idea is to remain awake and alert, but in a state of really deep relaxation. If you do fall asleep or find yourself drifting, don't worry, don't berate yourself, just allow it to happen. Because you almost certainly need that rest. So begin by wiggling yourself in any way that makes you feel that you can ease comfortably into your relaxation position. Allow your palms to turn upwards, but to have the hands a distance away from the body that allows the shoulders to settle to the floor. And the feet to rest gently apart. Close your eyes and bring your body to stillness. Take a deep breath in, sighing out through the mouth as you exhale. Repeat 3 more times. A deep breath in. Let all of your effort go. A deep breath in. Let your muscles begin to relax. Last breath in. Surrender down into your mat, your support, your reclined position. Allow your breath to fall into its natural, spontaneous rhythm and fall away into silence. Bring your awareness to the top of your head and allow the top of your head to soften, allowing the body to soften a little bit like butter melting. From the top of the head, softening the forehead, the area around the eyes, the mouth, the tongue, the jaw, the back of the head, the sides of the head, the back of the neck, the throat, the tops of the shoulders, arms, wrists, elbows, fingers. Allow the chest to soften, the upper back, the whole of the waist, the lower back, the abdomen, the hips and pelvis, buttocks, allowing the legs to soften, the knees, the ankles, the feet, the toes. Bringing a sense of heaviness, relaxation, release to the whole body. And here at the start of your Yoga Nidra practice, bringing to mind your positive affirmation, your sankalpa, and repeating it to yourself mentally 3 times. Keeping this thought in your mind, draw your awareness, your attention to your right hand, to the thumb of the right hand, the first finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, the back of the hand, the palm of the hand, the right hand, the right wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, the right side, right waist, right hip, right thigh, top of the knee, back of the knee, calf, shin, right ankle, the heel of the foot, the sole of the foot, the top of the foot, the right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe of the right foot. Draw your awareness and attention now to your left hand thumb, first finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, the back of the hand, the palm of the hand, the left hand, left wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, the left side, left waist, left hip, left thigh, top of the knee, back of the knee, calf, shin, the left ankle, heel of the foot, sole of the foot, top of the foot, the left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe of the left foot. Draw your awareness back to your right hand thumb, first finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, back of the hand, palm of the hand, the right hand, the right wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, right side, right waist, right hip, right thigh, top of the knee, back of the knee, calf, shin, right ankle, heel of the foot, sole of the foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe of the right foot. Draw your awareness to your left hand thumb, first finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, back of the hand, palm of the hand, the left hand, left wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, left side, left waist, left hip, left thigh, top of the knee, back of the knee, calf, shin, left ankle, heel of the foot, sole of the foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe of the left foot. Now draw your awareness to the whole of the right arm, the whole of the left arm, and both arms together. The whole of the right leg, the whole of the left leg, both legs together. The right buttock, the left buttock, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, the whole of the back, the length of the spine, back of the neck, back of the head, top of the head, both sides of the head, the forehead, the right eyebrow, the left eyebrow, the center between the eyebrows, the upper eyelids, the lower eyelids, the touch point of the eyelids, the length of the nose, the tip of the nose, the right cheek, the left cheek, the upper lip, the lower lip, the touch point of the lips, the tongue, the jaw, the throat, the right collarbone, the left collarbone, the right side of the chest, the left side of the chest, the center of the chest, the whole of the rib cage, diaphragm, abdomen, navel, the right groin, the left groin, and now bring your awareness to the whole body together. The whole body together. The whole body together. And repeat your Sankalpa, your positive affirmation, 3 more times. Now bring your awareness to your base chakra, a space between the legs, the very base of the abdomen. You can bring to mind your legs and your feet as well if this is useful for you. And imagine the color red in this area of the body. Allow the base of the abdomen, the legs, the feet to be bathed in the color red. Bring to mind a time when you felt safe, secure, stable, solid. Move your awareness to your sacral chakra, an area around your belly button, your navel, that goes around the whole body, the back, the front, the sides. At this low point in the abdomen that connects to the hips, visualize the color orange. Allow the whole of this area of the body to be bathed in orange light. Bring to mind a time when you felt really you had something awesome about yourself, something that you love about yourself. Bring to mind that attribute, that awesomeness. Remember the last time you were really creative. Something you imagined that you brought to life, brought to fruition. Move your awareness to your solar plexus, the part of the body between the rib cage and the abdomen, around the diaphragm area. And allow this whole part of the body to be bathed in yellow light. Bring to mind a time when you felt confident, when you used your willpower, when you felt full of energy and light. Move your awareness to your heart center, the center of your chest. And the heart center can be bathed in green light, pink light, grey light, whichever of these three colors appeals to you the most. Bring to mind a time when you felt love and when you gave love. Bring to mind something for which you are truly thankful. Draw your awareness to your throat chakra, the space at the bottom of your throat. Allow this whole area of the body to be bathed in blue light. The color of blue is your choice. Bring to mind a time when you spoke your truth and it was heard. Remember a time when you truly listened to someone else. Move your awareness to your third eye center, the space between your eyebrows, in the center of your forehead. Allow this whole part of the body to be bathed in purple light. Bring to mind a time when you used your intuition, when you trusted your instincts. Move your awareness to your crown chakra, the space at the top of your head. Allow it to be bathed in brilliant white light. Bring to mind a time when you felt connected to something bigger than yourself. When you felt part of the whole. At one with the whole. Now imagine yourself standing apart from your body and looking down and noticing each of these lights, the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, the purple and the white. None is brighter than the others. They are all in balance. They are all in harmony. Bring to mind your positive affirmation, your sankalpa, and repeat it 3 more times. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your hands and your feet by wiggling your fingers and toes. When you feel ready, take a long, deep breath in and reach. Stretch. Yawn if you need to. When you feel ready, bend your knees in towards you, hug them towards you, make any movements that feel good with your spine. It can take a little bit more time to come around from a Yoga Nidra. So if you feel like staying where you are, then you can continue to do that. If you want to, you can roll to one side and just take a moment. Whenever you're ready, coming into a comfortable seated position. Today, we'll just simply bring our hands to Namaste. Lift our chests, take our chin towards our chests, feeling that gentle stretching down the back of the neck. Smiling to yourself because this day is going to be a wonderful day. And when you're ready, raising your head, opening your eyes, we'll offer each other Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this practice dedicated towards better sleep. Hope you enjoyed it.